Hey, welcome back to Dutch Chapels. My name is Jerome. This episode is episode number 4 on the carb and ignition problems I had. I'm going to pick it up from the previous episode where I had a bad carb that doesn't idle properly, and now I've also got spark problems. So I'm really bummed out at this point. It's a long time ago, by the way, but anyway, bummed out, and I'm going to continue from there and see what happens and how I get things solved. There will be a final 5th episode, and that will be the last part in all the carbon ignition thingies, so bear with me. Yeah, if you like what you see, please subscribe. That will be really cool. You can also follow me on Instagram and get in touch there if you want to. Leave a comment if you like. And also I'd like to say that I'm going to Scotland in March to the Scottish Motor Show with the entire Kilted Bushido Builds NWT Europe crew. So that's something I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a lot of people you know on YouTube as builders as well. So I think that's going to be a really cool day, cool weekend actually. So if you're in the area, please come and visit. But for now, carbs and sparks. Cheers. Okay, so it's another day again, and Marco Becker was kind enough to keep mailing with me back and forth. Now, I was afraid that it might be the stator, but he thinks that this is probably not a CX500 but a GL500 engine, which he said sometimes happened in Germany. That these things are probably not broken, which I thought, because it was usually a CDI problem with the CX, but this is a different kind of CDIs, which are a lot more reliable, and if one of these two would be broken, then it would still run on one cylinder. Now it doesn't run at all right now, so he thinks that it's not the stator, because the stator in the GL500 is a lot better, so it seemed. He says it's probably just a fuse. And he says often they don't look broken like these do. He says just replace them all, even if they look good. Give this a good clean, polish them up, and replace the fuses. Okay, we're 2 days later now, and I finally got these little glass fuses in here, and I've cleaned it up. I've kind of sanded the contact points, spray that on these points. So I got a good connection. Let's push these in. And this one is working as well, otherwise I wouldn't get anything, but I could have a little look inside here. So that's the main fuse. Okay, I'm just gonna clean this up a bit.
A few moments later.
So I cleaned it up, placed the washers, took all the rust off. Connection is good, the fuse is still good. It's 30 amps. Put some WD-40 on it to get a nice connection, protected from some rust and humidity. It was fine, so I don't think it changed anything. Those have been replaced. Now, none of these fuses communicate with the spark plugs, but so I'm thinking there's gonna be no change. But okay, well, let's see. I'm just gonna check these connectors as well, and then we'll have a go. So, still no spark. All the fuses are good, all the wires are good, connectors look good. There's no reason to assume that anything has gone disconnected or anything. Spark plugs are brand new. I checked all the wires, they're good. Spark plugs are new. So yeah, it's got to be the stator. It's not giving any power to the coils, or to, well, the coils. Yeah, to the coils.
2,000 years later.
So probable cause number CX500, the kill switch. Now I've opened it up, I've cleaned it as well. There was some like grease, so this entire thing is, the back is still a bit greasy. Cleaned that out, and I've cleaned the button as well. So the little bearing here, the connector with the spring was all greased up. So I've cleaned that out. There's nothing visually wrong with the wires. They're all connected. As you can see, it's still a bit dirty, so I'm going to clean that out. But I really don't think that this is the problem. But yeah, going at straws here, I guess. So I'm going to clean this out and then have another go. But I'm pretty sure that that is not the problem.
3 days later.
So the next thing is the coils for this Honda. These are just second-hand coils, and just to see if the coil net one are giving me the ignition problem. I'm doubtful, and to be honest, these look even worse than the ones I've got on this one actually. So yeah, but what I'm going to do is just take off this harness and fix these wires, because they look pretty shabby. I got these at this, which is used parts thing, but when I say used parts, I say used parts. So I don't think this is going to be the solution, but you never know. So just going to solder these, make them look nice, and see if I can fit these on the bike and have a test. So this is how it came out. I think it looks really nice. Still want to do another coat of black and then do another clear coat to protect it, but as you can see, it looks great, and we know now inside it's great as well, so maybe this will work. Okay, so got my 2 replacement coils here, the original ones there. Put in the wires. So welcome back to this part of this daily rider problem that I have got, which is no spark. Now I've been really struggling with this. I did the measurements as they were mentioned in the manual. There are a few things that were out of how to say that, were not normal. There was a problem with these igniters over here, and the coils, the secondary coils, they were not giving any resistance or any readings as they should. So I decided to get some second-hand coils for this particular Honda, which are not easy to find, because these are not very normal. But I got a really cheap set just to, I don't know, have a go, and that's actually these coils that I've got here. Now the ends were really bad. I had to solder in new wires, and on one of these there was no plugs as well, so I had to cut the ones that I had here. But anyway, I did that, and then I actually got a spark back. So for a while on both sides, but at some point one of the sides just went, it was gone again. So
the one with the blue wires over here had spark, and it keeps getting spark. It's fine. It's like a really bright, nice. It's what you want to see. But the ones here on with the yellow wire isn't anymore. So I started kind of like ticking out problems. So what I did was I removed, which is pretty easy to do on these things because you just unscrew them like that, and you have this wire, spark plug wire. So I swapped this over from one side to another. Again, this wire that came from the yellow one did spark when I put it onto the blue one, and other way around. When I put the one that was on the blue one and put it on the yellow one, it didn't spark anymore. I also changed out the spark plugs, see if they were the problem, switch everything around and make all the different settings. Still a problem with this one. I also found out that as soon as I started really grounding these coils on these points here, because they were really rusty, and I cleaned them out on the lathe with a wire brush, and suddenly I got spark again. So, excuse me, it's really late. I've been working along.
3:28 a.m.
But so then I kind of focused my attention to these connectors here of maybe they were not working properly, so they were not clicking in. But because I was switching things out, that at some point I would kind of like found out that that was not the problem. The other thing I also changed was these igniter units on this particular CX, which is different. So I swapped them out. So I switched them around because I read that there is no difference between these things. And yeah, there was no difference. So the yellow one still is giving the problems and the blue one isn't. Now, it's got something to do with the coils. I think I could have another look at the connectors, but I don't think that is it. But yeah, you could swap this one out for the blue one as with the wires and see if it gives a problem, because then it's a connector. But I don't know. It's I do think it's not the alternator. I did a revision on the starter motor, which is completely brand new now, so that's not a problem. And I don't think it's these igniter units as well, because when I swap them out, they do what they do. So I think it's all coils. The entire problem I've got is these coils, which are hard to find for this particular bike. So yeah. But the engine pops and it drops and it does. So I think as soon as I got this coil problem solved, I'm done. So I can move forward again. So fingers crossed. A spark plug wire with a brand new spark plug. This is the one with a blue wire. Now I'm gonna ground this. So I've grounded this to the frame over there. Got the ignition on. Got the kill switch connected. So there's no particular grounding to the coils right now. The connector is connected. The blue, this connector, I've pushed it in. Got ignition on. I know the battery is good. See the spark. As you can see, perfect spark. This is the other spark plug, which is connected in the same way. It's on the yellow wire. Both of them go, or both of them not go. And as you can see, the bottom one is the yellow one. Oh, now it goes. What the fuck? Why does it go on this side? That's so weird. That's weird. So we should run. Started this little video. It was kind of want to show you how to diagnose something, switch things out. Every time I did that, the yellow one would not be good. And as I was showing you, trying to show you that in the video, now I've suddenly got spark on both sides. I still don't understand. It's got to do something with these coils, something to do with, I guess, ground, but I really don't know where. Maybe it's just been the connectors. So I still have the original ones hanging underneath the frame here. I'm gonna take these out and see if I can get the mistake back again.
A few moments later.
Okay. This is getting weird. I thought I was going to show something about this connector, but now I've lost spark on both sides. There's nothing. Not on the blue one, not on the yellow one, nothing. Why is that? I haven't changed a single thing. That's so frustrating. The only thing I did was loosen this connector and put the other one on the other side. That's all I did. And then suddenly the one on the blue side, which has been giving spark all the time, lost spark. So, Christ, I'm confused, man. What the fuck? It's so unreliable.
3 days later.
Nice headlight. So I got some replacement coils here. These are the original ones. These are a second-hand set, and these are a second-hand set. Now I've been trying out these, had a bit of success with that. I haven't tried these yet. I'm going to go ahead and try the latest ones I got. They're really dirty and grimy, but I'm going to attach the wires to it. Alright, ignition on. Let's go. There is a spark on this one. So this one's sparking. And let's see the other one. Damn it. Alright, here goes nothing. Yeah, got spark on both sides. So I got spark on both sides now. I've had that before, and then suddenly it would go away. But I'm still thinking that the coils were the problem from the get-go. So that is good news, of course, but I'm still a little bit apprehensive because I've had this before and suddenly spark was gone again. So just going to test it a few times more, see if it keeps sparking, and if it does, see if we can get it running again. That would be awesome. Okay, so I put the bike back together. I'm just going to do the carb now. Put the coils into place. There should be, kind of cleaned it up. Checked everything. So these are the carbs that are giving me problems. And I've got a different body, which I forgot I had, which is a bonus for me. Now, I've cleaned this with thinner. That one has been ultrasonically cleaned. This one hasn't, so that may be a little upgrade I can do later, but I haven't got access to the ultrasonic cleaner right now. But what I am going to do is going to transfer the main parts from this one to that one. I've also got a different set with the rubbers and stuff, because all the hardware is okay in these. It's probably to do with these for some reason. Now this does feel a bit tougher than that one, so we'll see. But I'm going to swap this over and we'll have a go. Okay, so swapped the major parts. I went from this one to this one. Just let's have a go and see what it does if this thing starts and if it does get spark. That's problem number one. But if it does run, will it stay at a certain RPM? Of course it will need fine-tuning if it does, but let's see if there is a big difference between these two carbs. So I am curious. Now I haven't bench tested anything. I don't know if it's gonna leak. Maybe I should do that first. Yeah, let's see if it leaks first. Go. I'm going to open it now, and there it goes, and that's a shitload of fuel coming out. So you could clearly see that. That's the problem. I haven't had that. The other side isn't doing it, and with their carbs, these were the bad ones, that didn't do that either. So I'm thinking, because it's so locally, and it's got to be the float on this side. So something is stuck here. The float is just staying down. Fuel just keeps rising, and then it goes out the other side. So at least I've got some fuel in the carbs now. Now I've closed it up. I'm just going to see if it sparks. Bingo. So I'm really chuffed. This thing actually has spark again. So I think it ended up being the coils, because these are the ones that I ended up replacing. I had a set bought which suddenly gave spark back again, but not really good. It suddenly disappeared and went again and disappeared, and on one coil it stayed and on the other one it didn't. I swapped all the things out, but then I bought like something else, and coils came with that. That was like a little bonus actually, and they looked really crappy. I put those on this bike and now it runs. So yeah, I guess looks can be deceiving, because the ones that look worst are actually the ones on this bike now, and now there is no problem. You heard it. It ran like a charm. So the other thing I did was replace the body of the carbs. So this entire set is a different carb than the one I've been using all this time, because this whole problem of no spark came around when I was trying the testing out why this thing was dying underneath for 1500 RPMs. That's where we started getting into trouble. As a way, people were saying, do you have enough spark, blah blah blah, testing it out, and suddenly spark crapped out, and well, we had nothing. So spark is back, different body, but there is a problem. Like I showed you, it's squirting out fuel from one side. Now I think it's a float problem, so I'm going to take the carbs out again, adjust the floats, be really careful with it, because I think it's weird that it does that, because it needs to get really high for that. So maybe it's stuck somehow. Like I said, these have not been ultrasonically cleaned like the other ones. So yeah, maybe I have to do that, get them ultrasonically cleaned, make sure everything's okay. I'm not going to do a slow jet removal. I don't know, I want to make sure this thing is still as is, and before I start ruining it. But yeah, you heard it running. It picks up. The other thing is, of course, the tach that I did in the previous video worked perfectly. You could see it going up and down. Yeah, that's great. The other thing is the kill switch. I still have to look at that. I've hot wired it right now and see if the original parts are still okay. Maybe I have to replace that. If I finally can get it running in some sort of a decent fashion, we'll do the valves and timing, stuff like that, and then reset the carbs again. Yeah. And then I've got to do the brakes, but then I've got a running engine. I can actually ride it. Holy shit. Sad part is it's winter over here now, but anyway, we're making progress, so that's cool. So for now, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to work on the carbs, and yeah, that's it for now. Cheers.